Okay, so should we get up the plot? I've got a couple of bits to do up there, and I'll show you what I've been up to. Well, welcome to the Polytunnel. So I just wanted to show you what I've actually been up to in here. I know you saw it on the plot tour that I did, but I didn't show you, I've actually installed the irrigation system in here now, which is a solar powered irrigation system, which is fantastic. It's going to be fantastic for me when I'm actually obviously away on trips and things like that. And I've obviously used these supports here, and I've used my strings and stuff like that. So I'll give you a closer look now. So as you can see, I've installed my solar powered pump system. It comes off this barrel, and I've got a feed going through into here, and then I've just set up basically drippers right the way round. And there's 12 stations. Yeah, so that should be great for me if I'm away. Might as well have to do a little update while we're here, can't we? So these are peppers. Obviously took the pinched these out, so they're bushing out now. So let them get the roots down. That's what I've heard. You let them get the roots down, and then they'll start putting on some growth. If there is any early flowers, I'll pinch them out as well. And then I've used these steel bars and just tied at the bottom, and just strung these so I can wind these round as they go. And if I haven't got a bar at the top, they're just going to get tied into the side. But yeah, so I've got all that done, and I think you'll agree, even from last week, the growth that these are put on. Got a bit of leaf curl on here, that's just due to the heat in here. I'm keeping the door open every night now, and I've got this mesh side panel here. But let's have a look at the temperature. Yeah, so 7.1 was the minimum last night, but that was with the door open. Quite warm, it's like over 30 every day, but yeah, these are looking very happy. And we've got some flowers appearing now. These are the Rio Grande on this side. Yeah, good. So, I'd be interested to know, what do you do in your polytunnels? How do you keep on top of the watering? Maybe you're there every day, maybe you can be there every day. But yeah, I'd be interested to know what everyone's watering techniques are, and hints, tips, hacks. Let me know in the comments, it'd be interesting. So I did prick out all my cabbages and cauliflowers, and they're looking great, apart from when I checked yesterday. Oh, the red calabash seedlings that I pricked out, all gone, all eaten off. Everything was gone apart from two of them had little stumps, so obviously the slugs have had a feast, but it was so weird because they didn't touch any others. Anyway, I've popped a few more seeds in each of these little pots again, and we'll see what happens. Sweetcorn potted on. I'm going to wait till that gets a little bit bigger and then plant it out. Okay, what else can we do? Now I've planted out most of my squashes and pumpkins now, but I've got still two more to do, which I'm going to do now, and I'll show you what I've done with that. But before that, I actually want to show you the bed that I've cleared out from the garlic. Now, I was in a dilemma, wasn't I, whether to pull the garlic or not, because it had rust, but I did decide to pull it. Let me show you. There we go, I'm quite happy. Some quite good bulbs on this. No, it's perfectly as well, but you can see the rust on it is awful. They're just on this old frame, just drying in the sun. We've had no rain whatsoever, and we're not likely to get any this week. We've got to keep it up for watering, but this is drying out nicely, so I'm quite happy with this harvest. Let me show you what I have actually done with the bed. Okay, this was earmarked for cabbages and cauliflowers, wasn't it? But I thought I could also use the space over this side once the potatoes come out, so we may have a little rethink about what's going to happen with that. I'm thinking some raised beds over there as well, but that's obviously going to be when those potatoes are harvested. But I thought for now, I had some spare tomatoes. So what I thought was, these are 2 Cherokee Purple here, and they're doing really well outside. They've been outside probably about 5 days now. And these are mystery ones, because I don't know what they are. They sort of just self-seeded. And I thought, well, let's see what happens. I've got a feeling they could be Roma. So we'll see. And then in the end of this bed, I've just put some, I found some bush beans, but Belotti bush beans, and I've not seen them before. I've only seen the Belotti and the climbing, so I obviously bought those. They were from Wilkinson's actually, so I thought I've got about, I think about 6 plants in there, so they've just been directly sown. So we'll see what happens. So very dry, very dry, but yeah, no rain is forecast. So my plan for the pumpkins and squashes are to use existing beds really and let them sprawl over the paths, because I can't really give a dedicated bed apart from the over on the other side, which I'll show you now. But first let me just show you where I've popped them, so they're going to be useful and not really taking much space up, and then they'll just go onto the paths and trail around. Pumpkins and squashes. So I've decided, apart from this bed here, which I've popped 1, 2, 3, 4 into, which will then sprawl over this bed beneath the peas, sweet peas and Belotti climbing beans. They'll also be able to spill over onto the path, which is my intention. So that is the plan for these. I'll show you a bit of a close-up now. I'll also just show you exactly what I'm going to do with the other areas that I'm using for squashes, and it's not going to take any room up because they're going to again use the pathways to sprawl out. So the first area is just below the peas actually. I know there's some calendula that I've directly sown here, but I thought this is a baked potato squash, and just let this sort of trail out onto this pathway here. And again, I've just done the other side as well. Again, a baked potato squash. There's calendula there, but I'm just going to let it sprawl. It's got plenty of room, so again, it's just making the best use of the space. A little bit limited on space on this block, but you know, you have to work with what you've got. Again, put one below the peas down here, on this side as well, and again, you can just sprawl out. And I've got 2 more left to plant, so it's going to go here and here. I've got some beans directly sown in here, but I'm going to plant that in the centre there and then just let it sprawl over this pathway. Let's get that done. Okay, so I've got, it's a little bit small, but I think they're going to be better in the ground actually. The other ones that I put in the ground, even though they're small, they're doing a lot better. No slug attacks, fingers crossed. So these ones are honey nut squash, and that's one that Ali sent me actually, and this is a sweet dumpling. I think she also sent me that. But let's give these a go. Again, they're just going to go in the centre here, one each side. There's a couple of little baby ones coming there as well. I'm just going to plant the whole thing. Let's get them planted, and let's get them cracking. I've had a bit of a trouble with germination on the squashes this year, but I'm going to try Ali's trick from My Rusty Garden, and she's had good success this year with chitting them beforehand. So I'm going to try that next year. So thanks for that tip, Ali.
tree. I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We're meant to be in the great outdoors, forever.
Well done. My name's Will, and you've been watching The Flying Gardener.